Aztecs have another test in the Mountain West after the loss to Boise. And if they can't find their way against the Air Force, they will be in deep tapioca. Greetings and welcome to Aztecs All In. Steve Perez with Weiner. We're all about anything related to San Diego State University Aztec athletics. Lewis, say hello.
Steve, how are you? Aztecs Air Force this weekend should be a lot of running.
Thank you. In this episode, the Aztecs football team gears up for its second straight Mountain West game against the team they must defeat if they are to have more than faint hopes to making it to the title game. Last week's loss against Boise already gives Boise the tiebreaker against them. The Aztecs face an undefeated Air Force team in Colorado Springs. Brady Hoke with a follow-up on what the defense is doing to improve on the fundamentals of tackling. Aztecs Mike linebacker Zyrus Fiaseu seconds that motion. Coach Hoke will follow with more on defending the option. Aztecs offensive lineman Cade Bennett talks about the improved offensive output. And finally, soccer coach Ryan Hopkins on the fledgling men's soccer team season and life after the Pac-12. So, here we are, Lewis, another do-or-die game.
Steve, Aztecs have a tough one this weekend, their second conference game of the season. They travel to Air Force to face the Falcons, and we know what the Falcons like to do. They like to run, and run. And the Aztecs have had problems with really good running backs this season and bringing them down. Ashton Genty, Boise State, last Saturday rushed for 205 yards. The Aztecs just could not tackle, and that's not just a problem from this past weekend, Steve. They've also had trouble tackling in games all season.
And it's showing up in the statistics. The Aztecs have given up 136 points this season. The Air Force defense, a scant 51. So the Aztecs, once again, will have their hands full.
They will indeed. And one of the main focuses this week for San Diego State during practice is tackling and chunk plays. The Aztecs have given up many chunk plays this year, and it's really killed them. And Coach Brady Hoke says tackling is something that they must improve on.
I think both of those are issues that we've got to do a better job with, 11 hats to the ball. And I would also say he's pretty good. You know, I think he's a good football player. But, you know, that's our job to get him on the ground, and we miss too many tackles, Lee. You know, not wrapping, not following through with your feet are all things that we got to do a better job at. I can tell you we probably practice tackling as much as anybody in this country. So it's kind of, you know, disappointing from that standpoint, but it's something that we got to keep doing.
The challenge is most definitely on for San Diego State. Air Force has won 9 straight games after beating San Jose State last week, 45-20. And the Falcons, who own the 5th longest active winning streak, rushed for a season-best 400 yards last week. So they better work on that tackling really hard.
The way Air Force holds on to the ball, the Aztecs will probably have limited offensive touches unless the Aztecs defense can figure out a way to get them off the field and get them off the field quickly. This is like the middle game of the schedule. They will be playing at the Air Force Academy, so it's an academy school at the Falcon Stadium. Last year, the Air Force snapped a 9-game losing streak against the Aztecs, and their record is really good, actually. San Diego State has won 4 straight at Air Force. This one is very important just because of the standings issue. Air Force already has 2 wins in the Mountain West. The Aztecs already have 1 loss. So we put the question to Aztecs defender Zyrus Fiaseu about what sort of tackling work is being done on defense.
Really this week is just about being physical and being real tough and being disciplined. With this offense, it's been around for years, and we have a game plan to stop it, and as long as we do our jobs and everyone makes the right keys, and looks at the right keys and makes the right moves, then we'll be all right. At the end of the day, all we got to do is wrap up and get them down. We got to gang tackle. We practice tackling a lot, and the coaches, they emphasize it every week, every day. It's part of playing defense, and we just didn't get the job done. We just, at practice, we got to thud better. When we got to thud, we got to take them to the ground. When we got to take them to the ground, we got to use better technique, better form for everything. And so this week, especially, we got to emphasize that because we know what they can do with Air Force. And so it's really just on the players. We got to be the ones to step up and do the job.
Is there something different about fighting through an Air Force block as opposed to other teams you might face in the West?
There's some pretty tough dudes. I mean, like going back to what you guys said about how, the things they have to do off the field too. I mean, when you get to the field, they're just, I'm pretty sure they ain't scared of us, but we ain't scared of them either, but they're just some real tough kids. So
San Diego State statistically on defense is having a year that is not up to their standards. Last year, they ranked 15th in the country in total defense. They were 19th in rushing defense and scoring defense, and not too shabby against the pass, 39th in the nation. This season, kind of a middling of the pack performance and giving up more than 400 yards a game in total offense. So we will have to check the box at this point on the Aztecs defense that says needs improvement. Right, Lewis?
Needs improvement, absolutely, Steve. The Air Force Falcons like to run the ball. It's the triple option. San Diego State only faces it once a year, and preparing for it is really difficult. Air Force right now is the only FBS team in the nation averaging more than 300 rushing yards per game. They're at 340 and a half, and they've got two guys in the backfield who can run the ball. Senior fullback Emmanuel Michael logged 33 carries for 148 yards and 3 touchdowns last week, and senior running back John Lee Eldridge III ran for another 102 yards and a touchdown on just 10 carries. So that's 10 yards a carry. So Brady Hoke today during the weekly media availability talked about the challenges of facing Air Force and that triple option.
You don't see it. You don't see it a lot. I mean, and, it's always harder when you have good athletes in those positions. And I think they've recruited very well. I think the quarterback, he was a track guy also. So when he gets out on the edge, he can go. They're totally offensively, they're a good football team, and there's enough of the guys who came back from a year ago that we played against. So it would be, I like playing Air Force, Navy, and Army personally because it exposes your fundamentals and, your discipline with what you want to do. So that part of it.
So a huge challenge for San Diego State this weekend. Air Force, as I said earlier, one of the hottest teams in the nation. They now won 9 straight games after beating San Jose State last week. And the Falcons have won each of their last 8 games by double digits. That's the second longest active streak behind Penn State. So a huge challenge for San Diego State's defense, Steve.
That's correct, Lewis. And both Hoke and Zyrus also remarked about how quick the Air Force offense was after the first couple of plays. They line right up. They run a bunch of plays. It's a simple offense, but they run it very quickly. So it's tough to get the feel for that in practice. And so they're going to get their first couple looks on the first couple possessions. And that should tell the tale about how the Aztecs will fare against this triple option. It's not something they can simulate with a scout team. So it will be very interesting to see how they come out against this team.
Although Jalen Maiden is a big guy, and in practice the defense is trying to bring him down, although they don't technically tackle, but so they could sense what they're going to face with just a really strong running game.
Right, and speaking of the offense and Jalen Maiden, the Aztecs have improved on that score. They did score 31 points against Boise State. They did make some good plays on offense, particularly in the passing game, not so much in the running game. They even threw in a quick little gadget play with Martin Blake throwing the ball downfield that kept Boise State off guard and kept them in the game in the early going. So the offense has picked up, and that is a tribute to not only Jalen Maiden and his improvement at quarterback and the offensive line, but also offensive coordinator Ryan Lindley. So Cade Bennett, one of the offensive linemen, talked about the growth of the Aztecs offense.
Yeah, I mean, we're just getting more comfortable with Lindley. We're getting more comfortable with each other. I think the receivers have really stepped up in a big way. Our whole offense, we've been trying to keep down. We had a couple sacks, and we managed to keep that down last week. So just working to get better every week. Obviously, there's a couple things we could have done. Could have been better at the point of attack. Maybe, there's always what ifs, but it's what we're training for every day. To see young kids like Balin come out there and play and really turn it on for us, and Breon stepping up. It's been huge just for our confidence as a whole unit, I would say. And, we just got to keep pushing. We got to get to – we're not where we want to be, but we're on our way.
So San Diego State hoping to move the ball against the Air Force, which they did not do last season. They lost that game 13-3. And while the defense played well, giving up only 271 rushing yards, well, if you're talking about Air Force, it's less than 300, right? But the Aztecs only managed 187 total yards on offense. But with Jalen Maiden more comfortable, you would have to believe that will improve this year, Steve.
It all depends on the time and the place. Every game is different, and you just never know what you're going to get in the college football game. And that's what makes the game so exciting to watch. Speaking of exciting to watch, when was the last time you caught the Aztecs soccer team, Louis? Have you ever caught them on the sports deck? It's great fun.
Well, I graduated in 85, so I would say probably 84 or 85. It's been a while.
Well, did you know the men's soccer team have yet to allow a score on goal this season?
I just learned that, and that's incredible when you come to think about it. I can't imagine any other team in the nation that can claim that, right?
Well, they are 6-0-1. And just shut out Utah Tech on the sports desk on Friday. And their big game coming up this week is pretty much their swan song in the Pac-12, thanks to realignment. They will be playing Cal on Thursday night. It's Greek night and scarf giveaway night. And we talked...
Scarf giveaway night?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's fantastic. Because we all know how often you need a scarf here in San Diego, right?
You never know. You never know. It was a cold winter last time around, wasn't it? Anyways, soccer coach Ryan Hopkins was asked about the impact of this realignment because as of next season, the Aztecs are a soccer team without a conference officially.
From a 10,000-foot view, I put all my trust in JD and Adela. I know they value men's soccer and they value soccer in the region and the community and the school. So for me, I just let them deal with that, and I control what I can control with the group. And for me, it's the Pac-12 was a part of our selling point of our recruiting, but I think we have so many other things going here. We have, I think Forbes listed us as the 16th best public school in the country. Just recently, we have, the best life skills program in the country in Aztecs Going Pro. We have a wonderful education you can get here. We have guys that you can come here and turn professional. I believe we have a really good coaching staff that's developing players for that level. So for me, I think we have so many good things going. I think, maybe the Pac-12 was, the sprinkles on top of a pretty good Sunday. But, I'm not a sprinkles guy, so I think we got a pretty good thing going. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of different, models and different things like that. I think we have to wait for, some bigger dominoes above men's soccer to sort themselves out here. In different parts of the country. So yeah, we've already had some of those conversations with, some of those teams leaving to where, they're not going to want to travel to the East Coast all the time to get non-conference games. So we've had a good kind of text thread going with a lot of the Pac-12, current coaches of how we can continue to schedule each other and, continue some of those, kind of Pac-12 rivalries we've had in men's soccer.
I know you can't speak for your players, but what's the overall sense from the players about all of that?
Honestly, they haven't asked too many questions. Just a few questions. I think they kind of feel the same way because of how we recruited them. It wasn't a huge part of the recruiting pitch, and I think they're here for bigger reasons, than even, just a soccer conference. They want to win. They want to have access to the NCAA tournament. They want to get a great education, and they want to have a chance to be a professional. And I think all those things don't really change no matter what conference we're in.
So if you caught our podcast, the special edition with the Aztecs Director of Intercollegiate Athletics,
And if you haven't, it's currently online right now on Spotify and wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
That's terrific. Yeah, absolutely. And good seats are still available in the auditorium for that podcast, as I understand. Anyways, the Aztecs will be taking on Cal in soccer, 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, September 28th. But one of the conversations we did have with J.D. Wicker was the impact of this realignment on the Aztecs soccer program. And you can hear it direct from the horse's mouth on that podcast.
We hope you give it a listen. It was a wide-ranging interview with J.D. Wicker. Very kind of him to allow Steve and I in his office to talk Aztec sports. So I hope you can catch that. That will do it for this edition of Aztecs All In. Please follow and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You can also drop us a line at aztecsallin@gmail.com. And you could follow us on the X, formerly known as Twitter, Aztecs_all_in. For Steve Perez, I'm Louis Weiner. Until next time, take care.